Evelyn ban, I think, will stick, by the way, for Coast.
Yes, I think the Evelyn ban and I think the Gragas ban might stick, or they'll omit the Gragas ban. But it is Curse Academy. They could pick it up first.
Well, they're going to have to wait out for Curse Academy's first ban, of course. Again, they lose that for the pause. I just realized they could ban something like Xerath that's tournament banned in the first place, and that would save like 20 seconds. But Team Coast already knows their first ban.
You could use the extra time to just discuss what you're going to ban later on.
Sure.
So, no need to rush.
And the ban's going to populate. We don't have them quite on the screen just yet. It is, by the way, a Maokai ban so far from Curse Academy, a Yasuo and Gragas so far from Team Coast. So actually, it's Coast who pick up the Yasuo ban. Both these teams afraid of it being first picked, interestingly enough.
It's such a strong champion between these two mid laners of Golden Glue and ManCloud. They both have a huge rep with being assassin-type players. And then Yasuo is kind of that brawler, fighter, assassin type champion who has a comeback mechanic with his ultimate. He's basically a melee Orianna. Is one of the best comparisons I can make. Yeah,
and it's very powerful overall. You really got to commend the champion and the players who can play him. But Team Coast's last ban was actually Lulu, which leaves Kassadin open, and that is locked in right away here for Curse Academy. So Kassadin comes in, the Evelyn was left through, and Santorin already hovers the champion.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he picks that one up, because St. Vicious had really good pressure with it, and St. Vicious isn't the most mechanically sound jungler out there, so Evelyn is right in his wheelhouse. It's not very demanding in that regard. So it's a really good pickup here for Team Coast, and they also get that Schrodinger pressure of Evelyn could be anywhere, and you start taxing them, which means maybe more wards.
More wards this game to battle the Evelyn, pink wards mostly. We are going to see Sheep get threshed this time, so going to see that change hands here, and can Sheep land even better hooks than Bunny Fufu did. But this leaves Tristana now open. Curse Academy can honestly get a lot of very important champions in their first 2 rounds.
I'm really excited because we saw Bunny Fufu's Thresh. Now we're going to see Sheep's Thresh. These guys are Thresh legends back when they were in the LCS. No team would let them have it, and now we're going to get basically a big treat seeing both back to back.
That'll be fun. How well can you dodge hooks then, Bunny Fufu, and what will your counter pick in lane B? Interestingly impactful looking, not at Trist, but maybe at Kog'Maw here as his choice of hyper carry. You don't need to rush pick that as a thing because, of course, you expect matches go for Trist regardless here, but that will be locked in. Kog'Maw comes in. Braum will be the support there to keep him alive. That is a champion that is actually okay being hooked, I guess. There's a lock in for Bunny.
Yeah, Bunny's played a lot of Braum recently. It's his most played so far in the Challenger Series, tied with Thresh if you count the last game. So no surprise there, and that synergy in the bot lane with Impactful, we'll have to see what he can do, because now Impactful is on a hyper carry. We talked about it on the analyst desk, talked about it here. The fact that he picked Corki last time, went for the lane bully, but still didn't crush the Tristana in the mid game, because Tristana has a good early game. Her mid game is the problem, and you need to kind of crush her there. Didn't go for it. Now he's just going to say, I'm going to scale up with you, and we'll have another 48-minute game, but this time it might be different.
Well, we're going to see what it is this time around then. These guys are going to do battle in the bot lane, and it's going to be all about who can pressure out whom. Curse Academy look for their top lane and their jungle here. They're going to have to blind pick the top lane. Sheep is not going to pick that for Rux just yet until they've already locked something in. Chris might just double up his Rise game there. And St. Vicious is going to switch over to Nocturne in this game. A lot of all around the map pressure then.
Wow, so both of these junglers have ganks that come from pretty much nowhere. And if you look at Curse Academy's composition, this is scaling across the board. They have Rise, they have Kassadin, they have Kog'Maw. They're looking for those late game fights, and there isn't a lot of early game setup either here.
No, that's the problem, I guess, for Curse Academy a little bit is that Nocturne is a get to level 6 then do things jungler. So Curse Academy, we've seen teams lane swap to safeguard the slow early game of farm junglers to keep them from having to gank anything anyway. Maybe that's the play here for Curse Academy, but they are going to be waiting for a while. Team Coast, they lock in Rux Aurelia here to battle against the Rise, saying, you know, this will work better than Italy. Go for this matchup instead. Maybe you can fix that one up.
So ManCloud, he's actually gotten his hands on Kassadin before. He went 12, 0, and 12 back in the round of 8. So it fell into his hands this time, maybe off the back of that loss of a ban.
That's true. Well, I mean, they didn't have to ban it, though, of course, right? So doing just fine. Honestly, it was Team Coast that really wanted to prevent the Yasuo. They cared more about ManCloud's Yasuo than they did about his Kassadin. This is 4.12 Kassadin, so the nerfs to the cooldown on his W are in. So I think that's actually live Kassadin. 413 didn't.
That's live Kassadin. 412
And 413 are the same Kassadin.
Yeah. It's the same one.
Yeah, so basically live Kassadin here. They say, you know what, that's just fine. The Yasuo is something we care more about here. So Coast, still going to be able to rely on Mash's Tristana. But you saw how slow that game ended up being. And Curse Academy say, all right, give us another 45-minute game. Rise, Trist, Kassadin, or sorry, Rise, Cog, Kassadin, bring it.
Yeah, and Coast aren't really contending that either, because they say we're going to go lock ourselves into Tristana, we're going to have Aurelia in the top lane, item dependent, and then we're going to have Orianna in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Set up some nice flanks with Evelynn later on. See if Santorin can set up his team for success.
We're going to see, and how much damage can Bunny Fufu block himself as well. One of the hardships for AD carry is trying to break down a Braum with Unbreakable on, and it takes some time, trust me on this one. But let's see how these lanes end up shaping up. Coast 1-0 in the series, looking to replicate LMQ's success of basically winning every single Challenger tournament of the split and then making it into LCS, being the #1 team there.
There's some throwbacks here from Coast, because Golden Glue, in his debut in the LCS, he played Orianna. I think he got a quadra kill that game.
He did.
His very first game in the LCS. So you know he's proficient on this champion, and that he is very comfortable on it. Because when you first join the LCS, you want to impress people. You want to play something that's going to showcase your abilities. It's right in his wheelhouse, and now he's going to be able to play this in the Challenger Finals. And then we have Sheep on his best champion, Thresh.
It's going to be a fun one, guys. Curse Academy, they put the wards down to watch where Santorin starts. There's trinket wards all over the Coast Red buff.
Already it's started. The ward fields. Oh.
7 wards down so far. None will get killed. They will all die in their sleep peacefully. Then buy a sweeper. What do you want me to say? When you guys play League of Legends yourselves, do you cheer when you kill a ward? At your own computer? I really hope you do, by the way. Next time I stream, I'm going to do that.
Really?
I'm only get like 2. I don't buy sweepers or pink wards.
Wow. All right, so the deep ward here into Coast's red side. They're going to see Santorin start here because it'll still be alive for a couple seconds. And they're going to see it.
They're going to see it. They see Rux's top lane. They see Santorin is there as well. We're going to have default matchups there. St. Vich is going to grab his blue buff. Smites it early, knows there's no pressure for him. It's going to get his cooldown back up for the next buff if he wants it. Slowly but surely that buff does go down. Level 2 for Saint.
Both these teams very confident in their ability to 2-on-2 the bottom lane, despite the fact that Coast is extremely confident in their bot lane. But Curse Academy said that they think they're on par as well.
Well, you saw Curse Academy actually win the bot lane themselves early on. Some of that could be Thresh, some could be Corki, but it still worked the same way. Mash, only missing 1 CS in the first wave. Impactful, looking to make it perfect. Can he get it? 4, 5. All right, that caster minion. Ooh, Sheep making it tricky there.
Yeah, they got it in the level 2s.
Alrighty.
Nope.
So far, perfect for Impactful, and Mash is going to keep this lane pushing on in. Rux already going for the level 2 damage, killed the first melee minion, went in for it.
So a big thing between Rise and Aurelia, since Aurelia has that tenacity, it's really hard to gank her because a lot of Rises won't put points into their rune prison very early on. Yeah, it's only a 0.75 second snare. So she's immediately out of it and constantly doing damage to you.
And heck, even St. Vicious has only got a 1 second fear on his E, and that one doesn't get maxed for a while either. So a total of 1.75 before the tenacity. Yeah, very little lockup there available. Rux could stay safe for quite a while. Ooh, missed that one.
So the jungler's actually not going for early ganks at the 3-minute and 30-second mark. Instead, they're clearing more camps. They're making sure that they get to these level 6s fast. It's a scaling game.
Well, very few of the lanes are gankable for Santorin, except for the mid lane here. He could jump in and deal some damage to ManCloud, but it's the Rise under his turret, Bunny Fufu and Impactful under their turret as well. Evelynn can't do anything there.
Yeah, ManCloud is actually up in CS right now over Golden Glue, despite being casted in against Orianna in the early game, and the Clockwork Wind-Up Harass is just not coming through.
Yeah, he's still got Blast Charge, he's still got potions as well. This is maybe not the sort of situation that Coast wants here, but...
Wow. Early back from Santorin to get the Spirit Stone and wards already.
Alrighty then. And meanwhile, it's Machete for St. Vicious. Really wants the fast clears pink ward for him.
That pink ward, it's going to go somewhere on this map. See how long it lives.
Good call.
Boom.
Did you really just predict the pink ward was going to go down somewhere on the map?
I was just going to say we had to keep our eyes on it after.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You didn't hear the second half of what I was saying.
Sorry, I jumped in there. Santorin getting some good work. Look at this. Walks all the way over to the Wraith Brush. Gets the ward down. And now for 3 minutes, he'll know what's going on. Now looks for ManCloud.
That wave is actually pushing towards Golden Glue, so he's going to get ganked.
There's a jump on in. Decent damage. ManCloud, wow, very low. 100, 200 health. They don't chase.
They get him out of there, and look at that.
Good flay into Impactful. Some good damage there as well. Stun almost on a mash, though. There is that stun going in. Impactful gets one more attack down on a Sheep, but that trade still goes in Coast's favor, and they are up 6 CS as well. Smite for Santorin. He gets that one. And Saint not going to stay for that fight, though.
Santorin with that ward coming up big, and then the gank in the mid gets that early summoner spell out of ManCloud.
Well, Rux battles, but he's got a giant minion wave hitting him. He's got to be careful. Realizes that Chris would win that fight, and Rux backs out.
Yeah, the thing between this matchup, too, is that they both kind of scale side by side, so it's really an even trade back and forth. But then in the late game, Aurelia can put a lot of pressure on Rise. And that's where this game is heading.
Well, the problem is last time there was no pressure from Rux onto Rise. Even though he had the early ganks and he was Nidalee and it was going to be glorious, it just fell off eventually. And Chris got to scale up. Now, Coast did still win that game, but Chris can sort of fall back to saying, well, late game it's still going to work. Santorin says, wow, that's an early defensive pink ward, but he can't clear it.
Yeah, he can't go for it right now. He has no idea where St. Vicious is or where the rest of the team is, and you can see that ManCloud is already feinting towards that side to discourage that clear.
Right now, these guys are going to hide away. Team Coast, their jungler was spotted on the way towards the bot lane, thanks to that defensive pink. Rux is going to be level 5 here, equal to Rise. No gank pressure just yet. Equal gold on both sides. Laning phase, they're fighting back and forth, but ultimately, these teams treading water so far.
It's just Bunny Fufu down here, because Impactful back and they're going on him.
There's the hook. Bunny was completely alone, has nowhere to go, will flash for it, and does he get away? 2 flashes burned for Coast, and they pick up the kill.
And it's first blood onto Mash. The patience in that gank was crucial. Impactful went back to base for a Doran's Blade and the parts of a Phage.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Bunny Fufu sits around in lane and gets picked off.
That is unfortunate. He wanted, I think, a little bit more money to maybe afford Sightstone, but right there you saw him get punished for staying in lane 1v2. Santorin now will start the Dragon off of the dead support on Curse Academy's side, and Coast now looking very good at the start of game 2.
Golden Glue hits 6, and he's able to zone out ManCloud from even checking the Dragon.
And speaking of that matchup as well, Golden Glue is finally pulling a lead in the fight as well. Now, ManCloud has recalled once, whereas Golden has not, but Rux and Chris in a bit of a battle. Chris almost out of mana, but Rux the same.
As matchup, just exhausting each other in their mana pools. Basically,
the TPs are back, though.
They're going to sit around and be like, oh, well, I can't really do anything to you. But at the same time, St. Vicious in the top lane might be able to influence this. Level 6s came out for the top laners. And this might be the backs.
Yeah, this is the right time to recall here for Rux. Assuming it's an item breakpoint, he's actually up in CS for how hard they've been fighting back and forth. Rux does pull a 7-minion lead, finishes Sheen, and that means he's going to have a really good time doing battle there. His burst will be so high, Chris will have to respect it.
So I have a question. You went on that little point about Corki shooting himself in the foot with Trinity Force?
Yeah.
What about Kog'Maw?
So Kog'Maw works out just because he's a little bit less crit line. Like, he has more, like, in-kit DPS. And, like, it's still not quite Phantom Dancer status, to be fair. But there's 2 little soft synergies. One is the AP ratio on W. And 2 is the extra, the attack speed difference is not quite as high. Phantom Dancer is 55% to Trinity Force 30. So it's less harsh.
Oh, Chris hasn't backed yet, and Rux is going to check this.
That's going to make Chris lose even more time, and Rux can basically set up a freeze and make another one of his minion lanes or waves die that Chris can't gain XP for.
That's pretty big considering it's that one-on-one in the top lane. They're even in CS now, and he has the Sheen. He was having mana problems. He's not going to have the same types anymore. And it begins.
First ward kill of the game. Actually, that I've seen, because I think there was one down in the Wraith Brush that died a while ago.
First pink ward.
First pink ward that we have seen die this game. That's true.
Actually, I lied. There was one off to the right of this mid lane.
Aiden, could you
First pink ward death that we've seen.
Okay.
Oh.
Great. Get enough qualifications, anything can be true.
Yep.
First co-caster named Aiden. That is now.
Oh!
Moving on there. Golden Glue does still get hit with the fear. Damage comes all right. St. Vicious is not going to chase too long. Has to flash the shockwave, though. Bit of an over-chase, but still an ulti burned.
Yep, Golden Glue does have the blue, though. So that ulti will be up in a little bit. Santorin sticking around. Chris put the pink down again.
Ward?
Freak.
Hey, they did it first. You started an audience.
Doesn't mean you get to continue it.
Yes, it does. Oh, Chris! Ward?
I do.
Oh.
Chris knows where it's at.
He knows what's up. Impactful, got to be a bit careful though.
Wow.
Sheep wants this one in play and box.
This is a strange
Ulti
trade.
popped by Bunny Fufu. Sheep losing health, and in comes Chris. Slowed down by the box, but there's the flash. Mash has nowhere to go, and 2 kills go to Curse Academy.
They went way too hard for that, considering even they started the fight with less HP on Coast's side. Curse Academy just turned it around and don't fall prey to Sheep's Thresh.
Yeah, so double kill picked up there, and it's going to be Santorin and Rux answering back into this one. Golden Glue very low, and Health Ignite is on. This shield, I think, will hold, though, and Golden Glue just barely survives the all-in from ManCloud.
60 HP left, saving himself with the Command Protect, and in the top lane, it is going to be that push because the TP from Chris bottom might reward them with turret, but if not, it's a lot of damage. And wow, he's stuck bottom.
Well, the TP was used, 2 kills were picked up for it. They will likely trade turrets at the end of it all. Super worth it for Curse Academy. Mid lane now got the push going through. Of course, that was ManCloud pushing Golden Glue out of the lane.
Now Rux is going to get himself damage on the turret. Saint's there.
He won't even get it. Look at that by Saint.
Yeah, Saint gets him off the turret. So low. It's about 200 HP left on that thing. Maybe a little bit more.
I remember what I was going to say now. You're my favorite co-caster, named Aiden.
Okay, okay.
If you qualify everything enough, it eventually becomes true. Santorin, spotted by a ward here, but he knows about this.
Yeah, this is the one from way back when.
He's getting his vengeance now. Santorin takes the ward down. Woo! 11 minutes, 24 seconds into the game. Ward goes down in the jungle. And Mash does get the answer back at this bottom turret. Zeal plus BF sword, high damage. Impactful gets hooked on in. Nowhere for Cog to go, and Ko suddenly owned the bottom lane.
They just wrapped around him perfectly. They got the flash out of Bunny Fufu over the wall, but now the rest of the team from Curse Academy are going to start looking top.
And that is a dead ward here.
That ward just saved Rux, possibly.
Yeah, he is running away from this one, but these guys are now trading very aggressive moves back and forth. Top lane outer heavily under fire by Curse Academy. St. Vicious is around as well. There's no one to defend it from Coast. They instead look for the mid lane a little bit. These guys are basically trading aggressive moves. They're not necessarily responding directly to assaults, but attacking elsewhere at the same time.
Right now, it's pretty much neck and neck again. Same turrets, same kills. The Dragons are going to be the fights where everybody's going to try to show up and flex their muscles. But the big thing is watch back timers and buying and power spikes before people get to Dragon. If you have Rod of Ages completed, if you completed yourself your Infinity Edge or the Trinity Force comes in, because Kog'Maw with Trinity Force up against Tristana with a Static Shiv and Parsnite.
Shiv BF holds up.
It's pretty close.
Shiv BF, I feel like, holds up a little bit, so Coast could be in a good spot to not really lose any pressure in any of these lanes. Rux has still looked good. Golden Glue has held up in the wave.
Oh, the backs didn't come out here beforehand, and we're going to see actually cast him back, complete the Rod of Ages, and now they're going to start heading towards that dragon with these power spikes, but there's only 5 seconds on before it's up.
Well, bottom lane's going to get cleared out. Pretty easy, of course, for Static Shiv Trist. Well, Rux spots a ward. Yes, he does. Huh? It dies. And at the same time, Dragon of equal value going down. Both very important objectives here for Team Coast. There you go. That buys everyone at least 2 more wards.
Oh, they might even spend it on that too, considering the trend of these past 2 games. 2,000 gold lead here for Coast. And the fact that Rux didn't have to TP into that fight. Chris walked towards mid and then made his way top because he wasn't going to get the dragon. But the ward control from Coast set them up for the dragon perfectly.
Life is honestly pretty good then for Coast players here. They're up 1,700. Nice look on a Bunny. Good damage comes through. Kassadin barely hurts right now. Only Rod of Ages done 14 minutes in. And easy wave clear, easy pushing for Mash. They are going to stay in this mid lane a little bit. Nope, a little bit gun shy.
Oh, look at all those wards that Golden Glue and Santorin have in their inventory right now. Yes, wards. Look at the wards.
Look at all those wards. You know that pink wards and green wards look at each other?
What?
You look at the inventory.
Just blew my mind.
They look at each other. Or it's like one cross-eyed dude that's like Two-Face.
Ooh. Don't want to know why half his face is purple. Give him some oxygen.
He's looking at his nose.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
what sports teams wear pink and green? Then he'd just be like a sports fan. What? You know, if we ever made Team Wards as like an LCS team, it would be everyone's favorite team. But they would cheer every time they died, so which way would it really go?
You would cheer when one of the members of Team Wards died?
You'd have to.
Man, I wonder if that would be demoralizing. But anyway, a lot of members of both teams in the middle right now. But Coast, they have that numbers advantage because ManCloud's pushing bottom, and they catch Bunny when the turret goes down.
And the turret dies, and there's the ulti engage. They do what they can, but that is a support dead. Naruto comes in for Saint, but he's got nowhere to go into. No, he does go in, almost by himself. Flashes out immediately. That was over-aggressive. Chased by Rux. Kill comes out. Sheep finds Chris, and that is a very dead Rise. Shockwave claims the kill. Eve did die in the wings, but that is still a 3-for-1, and Coast get a lot of control from that.
Yeah, they are up about 3.6k gold now. They're pushing this middle, and they have that attack speed and the damage behind it with the BF sword.
Yes, they do, and look at this turret going down. No one is really there to defend. Curse Academy, their comp is all about scaling for the late game, holding on and waiting until 25 minutes later than it is now. And Coast taking it to him already.
Yeah, we talked about just wards over and over and over again, but the ward control all game has really just been in Coast's favor, and the fact that Santorin is so much pressure just from being Evelyn. St. Vicious, how many Nocturne ultimates have we seen that have been effective this game? Not a lot.
No.
We saw one right there that started that fight off, but it was kind of just damage control, and he ends up dying anyway. Chris goes for a flank, but the fight is already over by the time he gets there. So these decisions, these trickle-ins here, are kind of reactive to what Coast is doing because Curse Academy don't have the vision control. ManCloud was pushing bottom the entire time.
They don't really have the champions to push the issue either. Like, this is the Curse Academy lineup. They have limited wave clear with just a Kog'Maw, their only like great range champion. I suppose Chris can do it as well. As they wait for late game, they don't even have necessarily elements to hold on to a game for this long, as Coast played generally pretty aggressive. Good split by Chris though. Saint shows up for it. Saint, by the way, also going late game, going for a Feral Flare plus an AD Nocturne build.
Yeah, he's going to get that Brutalizer is what it looks like. It could possibly be Bilgewater Cutlass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both are good.
Yeah, it's really late game here between these two teams. So the advantage that they get only matters if they get it to power spikes over their opponent. If they both get to 6 items, it's really what can your comp do, what's your positioning like.
Sure. Right now, Curse Academy, they're only down 4k. Maybe that's enough for them to hold on to.
That is a Cutlass.
So
he's going to go Blade of the Ruined King. Ooh. That's going to shred some people in the late game, but not a lot of them are going to build HP.
I actually see a lot of junglers stop at Cutlass just to add CC to their kit.
That's true.
And like, so Saint could build a Youmu's from here, or he could go tank from here. I've seen both builds. I do want to know which one he goes for. He will be squishy for a while, though. It will take some time for Saint to be tanky, and he will always die to mash in a 1v1.
Yeah, these two compositions have some pseudo tanks in them. You have the Aurelia who will get tanky after about 1 item. It depends on his second item as well. I've seen some Zephyrs in there, depending on the amount of CC. And then you see Chris on the Rise.
Yeah.
That eventually gets tanky. That kind of just coincides with his damage and DPS build.
I like that his name describes his damage output throughout the game.
Rise?
It always rises. Chris tries to save his turret. It's very low, and it goes down to minions. Split push minions OP. Chris could not hold them. Gets his vengeance somewhat, but he is down 30 CS this matchup. I've seen that before. Rux winning the one-on-one. It did flip later on in Chris's favor, but right now, Rux is getting the better of that matchup.
Yeah.
Dash then match, dash then kill some minions.
The move, back and forth. The minions. But still, the big thing here, this gold lead is only getting bigger for Coast, and Dragon is up in 20 seconds, and they've already wrestled ward control for themselves. Just like that.
True. Exactly. They kill the wards off. Coast show no mercy to wards. They know. There's a lot of Sheep fans out here, man.
Yeah.
It's great.
Love all the people that stayed.
You guys are wonderful, as always. I think it's like my 4th time complimenting the crowd here. But
yeah, oh yeah, it's late. That's the thing, is they're the real MVP.
Yeah, man. We're 8 games into the day. You guys are still chilling for wards. You got to figure you guys were cheering for wards at the beginning of the day, too.
Oh,
Rux has to run away. He does stay safe. Curse Academy do not find the dive.
Wow.
Dragon goes down, but Curse Academy are getting damage on this tier 2 turret. ManCloud is around, but honestly, actually, not much was gained for that move. Just a flash from Rux. ManCloud goes back in. They still got the wave, and look at this. Looks like Coast going to keep going down the mid lane for this.
Yeah, they're going to continue to push this off. Now, what's going to happen from those top members of Coast? They're going to continue the fight and continue to stop the backs?
Do they try to stop backs? Yeah. Their red buff up, though. Santorin can claim that. MASH stole away the Wraith camp. Curse Academy, just unfortunately for them, get completely out-rotated. Have to go all the way back to their base, and they lose their jungle as a result of basically nothing. Not even wards left in this northern jungle.
Yeah, there's nothing here. If we just did a vision game and swapped it back and forth, you'd see that the dragon control is completely in Coast's favor. Curse Academy, they've just kind of sacked that and said, we're going to get some on top and near Baron, so we can just come back with more once we backed, fight over that area, and just start making objectives come into our favor. But I don't know how much the gold lead will be by the time they do that.
Well, here's what's troubling for Curse Academy. They all just recalled. How many wards do you see in their inventory?
Yeah.
They all just recalled. They have no vision at all, and no one pitched in. Feral Flare and a Sight Stone is the only ward coverage these guys have. The trinkets are even on cooldown as well. This is the making of something very rough for Curse Academy. They could get picked out here if they're not careful.
I think that the people in our audience are really high elo.
Yeah.
Because
they buy so many wards.
I know. They're like, you backed and you didn't get wards? Boo! Exactly. See, because if you're going to solo queue, wards win you games. Statistically, they win you games.
Yeah, they do.
And in practice, too.
Sheep, though, he knows all about wards. He's got a Sight Stone, pink in the inventory, use a sweeper and a brush. Bunny Fufu knows the same. These guys know what's up. They're playing the vision game.
And now, actually, the flank coming around Sheep was looking for some ward placements around Bunny Fufu, but they are 3 men strong in the top lane. Saint has not let his presence be known yet, so he's looking for a sneaky gank, but I don't know if he can get it. Once again, ManCloud in that bot lane, he doesn't have TP on that Kassadin. He's just trying to farm.
I mean, that's all Curse Academy are going to try to do, but how well can they react to Baron plays here? Coast, sweep more wards away. Rux wants a way in. Soccer ball ward, I like that.
And they're just going to continue to push this top lane now and get vision control over the Baron. It's completely in Coast's favor. Look at all those pink wards in that pit.
And here's MASH, here's Sheep, here's the rest of the team. They are just rushing down turrets because who cares about neutral objectives? But you can take your opponents, though. Rux gets a slow in the face. Chris has to be careful. Knock up onto many. Shotgun pulls in Bunny Fufu, and down he goes. 1 for 0. ManCloud jumps into the fight, but there's really not a lot of damage follow-up. Coast back away easily.
It's a 1 for 0 off the back of that. They might get this turret.
They're going to look for only one caster in alive. Chris and ManCloud go back in, but that hook onto Impactful, would you believe it? Rux will go down for it, but ManCloud dies just the same. That makes it a 3 for 1 for Coast.
That's almost going to guarantee them this turret. This push, they're just going to face tank it and get some more gold in their inventories.
And who else face tanks it but Sheep himself? He's been killing the wards, he's been taking the turrets. That is an objective-focused man right there. And Team Coast, even on the way out, find time to kill wards.
They might go for a Baron play here, but instead they're going to back off and just let that vision control do the work for them, because even if Curse Academy rushed it right now, they'd get there, and then they'd have to spend a lot of time clearing these wards out before they attempted the Baron.
Well, that's true, and Coast, though.
We're going to see some ward deaths here.
Yeah, we are.
Cover your eyes.
No, look. Gaze
Cover
upon.
the children's eyes.
Uh-oh, the observers are starting to troll the audience now. They have gone away from the ward kills.
It's a family game.
Yeah.
Has to be age appropriate. No ward deaths. It's too gruesome.
You know, I expect armor to come in for Sheep and Money Fufu soon because I feel like they'd want Warden's mail.
Oh boy. Yeah, but speaking of wards, look at all the wards that Coast have in their inventory.
Yep, they got plenty.
They're ready to rock. They're ready to put more wards down around that Baron area. They now have about a 9,000 gold advantage.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to keep growing, it feels like. Coast have been playing this game very cleanly. Again, Curse Academy, they're by default going to cede map control. It's a late game team. The question is going to continually be, how much does Curse Academy give up? What do they fight for? How much does Coast get before Curse Academy really turns on? Now, items can completely compensate for kit differences. 6-item Corki will crush 1 item Tristana, for example, no matter what. And Mash is staying above Impactful.
Oh, yeah.
Golden Glue staying above ManCloud.
Mash's damage output right now is hitting those big spikes, especially in compared to what Impactful has. He doesn't even have a second attack speed item on Kog'Maw.
Yeah.
And the ManCloud's been farming off on the side, but he hasn't really been doing too much for himself because at the same time, Golden Glue is a part of these fights and he's getting kills. So he's ahead of the curve as well.
2-0-4 and a CS lead. In fact, every single lane aside from the jungle has a minion lead there. Both supports equally bloodthirsty in terms of ward kills.
All right, all right. Oh, I'm going to check that.
Oh, yeah.
Boom. Wow. So the junglers are actually doing a lot of work here. But yeah, it's 2 ward kills for Bunny Fufu and 3 for Sheep.
3 for Sheep. St. Vicious, pink ward going down. And they get ward control back over this Baron pick. Curse Academy, they're outside their base. This is a risky position for them.
Oh.
They're trying to set up a trap. They've got the 2 split pushes in the bottom lane here.
Base check it, but
4
Sheep's
on
gonna
4.
go in.
Sheep not going to land the hook, but they know Curse Academy are here, and
Santorin
they go in for this one. Santorin, the TPs come in, Santorin goes down. 1 for 0. Rux looks for the back line, but he is losing health rapidly now as Saint dives in as well. How's the shotgun going to go? The jungler goes down. 2 kills so far for Mash. This could be very good for Team Code. Mash keeps chasing on. He looks for Impactful. Who's going to win the fight? It's going to be close. Impactful wins, but goes down afterwards. Now Chris gets hooked in. He's going to go down. Shockwave comes in. Ace for Coast.
Coast just blow the game wide open with that ace. They have minion wave in the middle. They're going to start pushing this inhibitor turret.
And that is a 10,000 gold lead and maybe more. In towards the mid lane they go. Short respawn timer still. It's only 26 minutes in. Saint up in 5 seconds. ManCloud in 10. But this should be at least the inhibitor turret. Bunny Fufu can only sit and watch as his buildings go down. Actually, no. The turret stays up. Coast basically get nothing for that team fight aside from gold.
They got a lot of gold, though. They got a 5-man ace, and the Dragon is up. They have vision control of that area, and they have some on Baron now, because while they were killing people, they actually placed some wards down themselves. Look at this. See Santorin flank. He gets caught out. TP comes in, and we see him arrive, but it's a trade of Fufu for Santorin. Impactful, he's not doing any damage here. He got stunned by Rux, and then he just sat in the back line. His effective DPS is so low during this fight, and now Mash hopping, skipping, getting these resets, and he actually stutter steps there a little too much in his attack speed.
The kills come back through. Oh, the re-engage on Baron, though. Hook on a St. Vicious. He's going to go down right first. Santorin takes a stun, but does not care. He's got some shields on for everyone else in the team. Shockwave's going to whiff off of Impactful. Nothing gained there, but they are still chasing. Kog has nowhere to go. Santorin trying to pick up the kill. Smash going to pick that one up. Now Bunny Fufu on the run. Jumps back to Chris. Ulti comes across, but a double kill still comes out for Mash. 3 dead from Curse Academy.
Oh, here's Rux.
And Rux is on the chase. He can only slow someone. And he gets Rune Prison, doesn't get anything for it at all.
And that is a 3-4-0 in favor of Coast. They have so many options available to them now on the map to push.
And the option is Baron. They sweep any wards they see along the way, except for that one and that one.
They haven't swept them yet, and they haven't seen them.
It's okay, but Baron is going to die.
Coast are rewarded with a Baron off of a desperation play from Curse Academy. We came back for the replay, and Curse Academy were making a very bold move for it, but it bites them.
Yeah, it does. It does. Curse Academy, any fight at 50 minutes is probably just a fight that Curse Academy will win. By that point, they pretty much must have gold, but they were looking for the Baron play. St. Vicious said, you know, normally the shot caller is impactful. When we get behind, I'm the one who calls all the really weird stuff and all the crazy moves around the map. But the crazy moves around the map right now are not working for Curse Academy. They're limping into fights when they are behind. That is not something they need to do right now. So Coast are winning team fight after team fight. They're picking up turrets and now major objectives off them as well.
This fight, Mash's damage output is insane right now. He actually has 100% kill participation in this game. He is going crazy. The red buff on him allows him to catch up to Impactful, and he eventually gets Bunny Fufu after some resets. Really well played here to take advantage of the fact that they had ward control. They knew that Curse Academy were in that area, and this series has really just been about vision. Vision, vision, vision. It's all these wards and all these sweepers that come out.
And people limping into fights when they don't have any, and it's the rough situation now for Curse Academy, man.
Now, when you play late game compositions like this, it really comes down to what did you do in terms of positioning, but what gives you the positional advantage? Warding, knowledge, having those types of edges in your advantage.
And what's crazy about these teams as well is they both have basically no tanks.
Yeah.
So when someone gets found, he'll just die straight out, no matter which player that is. Bunny Fufu's been dropping right away. It's an early game Braum still, so there's no tank items yet. St. Vicious, no real tank items to speak of as well. You see he loses a third of his health from a single thresh hook and 2 members helping. Rux gets a shield. He will stay alive a little bit more. But Coaster is snowballing a gold lead so big that Rux will be tanky, that Santorin will be tanky.
Yeah, Rux is at that tanky point for himself. He's got the Banshee's Veil. He's working on the Warden's Mail to complete into the Randuin's Omen. They're going to just push down and crack the Nexus at 30 minutes.
Well, there we go. Inhibitor turret number 1 goes down. The inhibitor itself also falls 30 minutes in. Coast still have 2 minutes of Baron. They look bot lane.
So they crack the base. They get an inhibitor turret and an inhibitor. This is just like what happened last game.
Yep. Just 15 minutes sooner.
Yes. Well, they did eventually get that middle inhibitor for themselves. First inhibitor of the game went to Coast both games. That's true. Now their rotational play off of all this ward placement. They have 4 pink wards on the map right now, just lining. Everybody is doing their job. Everybody is contributing to this Vision game on Coast side, and it's coming up really, really big for them.
And so here we go. Now you guys are getting really random. I don't even know what you're cheering for anymore. I just heard noises. It's like a barn. Got more than just sheep here in this game.
Standoff right now.
Push Shockwave onto 3. Chris and Impactful incredibly low, and Chris will die to Rux, and the battle has begun. St. Vicious has nowhere to go. He's running backwards. That's not going to mean much. They trade back on the top laner, but it's still a 2-for-1 so far. Santorin to the front line, and Mash is going off. Flashes in, gets the kill on Bunny Fufu, and now the push comes in for inhibitor turret number 2.
And they end up just rotating towards the mid right now. They want to clear this minion wave out.
This could be the game-winning push right now. 25 seconds of 4 versus 2 on the map. A super minion wave is coming in. Impactful nearly hooked. New wave comes in for the bottom, but there is a lot for Cursed Academy to deal with.
They're going to go ahead and go after this inhibitor and get their second inhibitor of the game.
There we go. 30 seconds left of Baron. Coast will actually back off of this one. Plus 2 kills in that fight. Another inhib and inhib turret goes down. Coast keep snowballing this lead. It's now almost 20,000 gold.
And both of these teams, taking a step back for a second, have playoff buys in the first round.
Yeah.
Right now, it's about showcasing yourself, flexing your muscles, making it show that you look like the most dominant team, and that is a great display of power right there. A 3-man Shockwave. Rux dives, but then he takes so long to kill. The stun on Impactful, timing it perfectly when Rux's HP is lower than Impactful's. He's just in desperate danger zone. And the rest of the team takes out the front line of Cursed Academy much faster.
We just showed a pip of a ward going down in that replay. Hope you realize that.
I've lost all hope.
I do want to point something out, though, is actually how much this gold lead has actually mattered. You talked about the stun on Impactful, buying a lot of time for Rux. Imagine if Cursed Academy had 8,000 more gold there, and Bunny Fufu had Mikhail's Crucible, was able to cleanse Impactful, let him deal damage during that fight, start crushing people back. These are the ports where a gold lead manifests, when although that one utility item isn't there. The Face of the Mountain shield for Bunny Fufu can't be afforded yet. He's still 1,000 gold away from that. All these things really matter. Sheep
is just rolling in cash because he has a Magi's now.
Well, it's so thematic to Thresh. He wants to steal their souls. That should be like a starting item for the champion.
Just, well, it is kind of his passive.
Right?
Right? Except it gives him different stats.
Still gives ability power.
Yes.
Which gives armor as well.
Let's see, they're going after the last inhibitor.
Cloud wants damage. Bunny Fufu wants damage.
Now or never.
There's the ulti onto about 3, and the battle has begun, but will it be enough? Golden Glue cutting in the back line. Shockwave claims the kill on St. Vicious. 2 for 0 so far. The dive on in. MadCloud gonna be Sonya's, and he turns golden, but he is not Golden Glue. That guy claims the kill there. And Rux now diving in onto the base. 2 inhibitors are dead. Super minions inside this one. 34 minutes in. This will be a 2-0 for Coast.
Coast with a fantastic Vision game all series long. They end up getting that last 3-kill fight, and they're going to end the game.
8-0-12 for Golden Glue on Orianna. This is a player who came into Dignitas last split replacing Skara. And they said, by the end of the season, we can't win games with him anymore. Put Skara back in, and Golden Glue has kept improving in the Challenger Series. This Orianna game was impeccable.
And you said it, 8-0-2. It doesn't get much better than that. Also, Mashme, 7-2-15 as AD carry. 100% kill participation in that game. As soon as they started getting kills in that bot lane around Dragon, they rotated and grouped as a team and didn't let up the pressure game.
Yeah, and it's just been a great team overall, man. The new guy to the team, Santorin, I guess the newest of the members, doing very well as a shot caller. And the rest of that lineup, it's a story of sort of vindication. You heard it from St. Vicious talking about it with his...
Thanks, Freak. I'm here with Mash Rift side after a pretty convincing 2-0 over Curse Academy. Now, Mash, last time we talked to you, it was Summer 1. End of Summer 1, you guys had just taken home the title. How does it feel now to have both Summer 1 and Summer 2 under your belts?
It definitely feels good, but it's definitely a big step for us facing LCS teams. I like to keep my priorities really high, so I like to, I don't want to say like the challenger team is bad or anything, but I like to keep my standards high and like just keep trying.
100%. I like that attitude looking forward. And speaking of the LCS, you have played on the LCS stage before. You performed in the LCS. So what's it like to be back on the stage to take home this win?
I made a big mistake last season. I felt really comfortable. So when I make it back in the LCS, I'll make sure I stay at the top because way back it's easier to get to the top, but staying at the top is really hard.
All right, well, following that convincing 2-0, let's look ahead to the playoffs. How confident are you guys going into that after having both Summer 1 and Summer 2 underneath you guys' belts?
I believe we have first seed. I think we play the winner of Teammate and Wasabi Gaming. Most likely we're facing Teammate, and I feel really confident whoever wins that.
Okay, and then if we go really far into the future, we're gonna look forward to the 2015 Spring Promotion Tournament. Assuming you guys do come out of playoffs with that top slot, which team do you think you'll get stuck with when the LCS teams have to choose down to who they're gonna play against?
That's honestly a really hard one. So give me a sec for that. Wait, EG is last right now, right?
EG is currently in 8th.
I don't know. I think EG is gonna be 7th, like by tomorrow. So I think we might face Complexity.
All right, some bold predictions there about tomorrow's games because that game is being played out tomorrow between those two teams, which will be very interesting. Anyway, Mash, I want to congratulate you on this victory. Very convincing. Best of luck to the team in the playoff tournament. We're going to send this right back up to Freak and Zyrene to close out the day.